Hi there. I hope you're doing well in these testing times. I welcome you to Indian Advanced Manufacturing and Engineering Group podcast. Rashmi, LG, and I, Abhijit Bhatt, are from Manlio Designs, and we'll be hosting this podcast. We hope to see existing leaders inspire new emerging manufacturers from this group. We are launching this podcast to get their insights and secrets for your benefit. Hope you find this valuable and interesting, and let's continue. So today, I'd like to introduce our guest Manu Ganesh. He is founder of GPY Machine Tools. He is ex-BFW, EMAG, and one of the former employee when Makino was still in the infant stages in India. And he parted as a service head before he left to launch his own venture. Now his company sells and services Vele, Hyundai, Campro machines imported from South Korea and Taiwan. He is a great person to talk and is always supportive when I approach for any solutions. Without further ado, I request our guest Manu to please introduce himself to our audience. Over to you, Manu.
Thank you very much, Abhijit, and thank you, Rashmi, for this opportunity. I will briefly explain my background. I used to live in Bhopal actually because my father used to work in BHL in Bhopal. So although we were Kannadigas from Bangalore, up to 10th I studied there. Then we moved to Bangalore. The whole family moved to Bangalore, and then I did engineering in Bangalore in BMS College. And from after engineering, I joined BFW directly as a trainee. And I used to work in the horizontal machining center department. And I used to assemble HMC and also service them all over India.
Okay.
So this took me all over India to various industries, including defense, textile, automotive, heavy engineering, construction equipment, etc. And at a very young age, I got a very good exposure of all types of industry.
Nice.
And also another good thing about BFW was, and is also, is that they used to build everything in-house, like spindles used to be built in-house, rotary table in-house, ATC, gearbox, name it, everything is built and machined in-house.
Yeah.
So I could gain very deep learning, and also I learned about mechanical and electronics, all kinds of problems I could learn. Since that time, liberalization was there in India, so new companies were coming. So EMAG India entered the country, so I joined EMAG. So in EMAG, I was trained well. I went to Germany, and also I went to Korea and installed a lot of machines there. So I had a very fantastic exposure there.
Nice.
Then in 1996, I joined Makino as a service head. So I was one of the first few employees. So I was very well trained in Singapore, Japan, USA, etc. So foreign brands had their own challenges, but somehow I could make a good solution, local solutions to major problems, and that way I could establish the service quality of Makino very well.
Okay.
So this is briefly my history, what I can say.
Cool. So coming to the crux, Manu, like first I want to, I'm very much interested to know about your journey in becoming the MTB service provider. Like in Bangalore, everybody knows GPY. So, but to audience, who are not from Bangalore, can you tell more about how you became the, MTB service provider? Your journey.
Yeah. See, actually, I was always an entrepreneur. Even though I was employed, I was always thinking in all my companies that I should work and get repeat order for my company. So I had that kind of an intention always. then actually service department is a good place to learn, but it has its own limitation in terms of growth actually. So I always wanted to start my own business. So starting a business for a service person, uh, various options are there. So he is seeing other businessmen, like all his customers are generally businessmen. So I approached some of my customers. Sir, you are successful businessman. You teach me how to become successful in business. So my customer told me, nothing, you buy one machine like Makino machine and you can start your business. So I asked him, sir, Makino is very expensive. What I should do for that? Nothing, you just go to bank, take all your property documents, give it to the bank, take some 1 crore loan and start your company. The moment he said that, I immediately, the face of my father, mother, my children, everything came because it's scary for an employee to,
Yeah,
take
yeah,
such a
yeah.
big leap.
A big leap.
Big leap. So I said, no, 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 I don't want to do this kind of business by mortgaging everything what you have. So I should do some business where the investment is least. So what is my asset? That is what I analyzed. So in uh, any business, any person has to monetize his assets. For a rich man, financial assets are there. For a technical man, technique is his assets. So that way, when I analyzed what is my asset, I found that I have given very good service for customers all through my career in all the companies. So that relationship is an asset. So
Yeah. You had a particular um, um, incident I remember where you told that you had a target about 99.9% machine breakdown efficiency or
yeah,
prediction and prevention. So can you tell us
yeah,
about that?
yeah. See, we were dealing with imported machines, and imported machines, earlier in India, getting the spares or importing was used to be very difficult. Customs clearance used to take long time.
Yeah.
So, and we have wide range of machines. Not that we are selling one model, we are selling variety.
Yeah.
So we have to see whenever a machine breaks down, we have to see that within few hours, 3 or 4 hours, we put it back into action. We don't give excuses that parts are not there, this is not that is not. So we had set up a target that within 24 hours, every machine should be up. It should recover. So sometimes we even bought local spares. We got spares manufactured. We got drawings from abroad and made parts. So this way, for a end customer, he never felt that it is an imported. He was just seeing our face, and we gave a local solution so that within 24 hours, the machine is up and running. And such a big investment, and particularly in lines, if you have a line of machine, one machine stopping is equal to stopping of 10 machines.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that way, we did a fantastic job at that time with service.
Great. So now coming to the another question, um, so you said about the new product, new service you launched. How it created a new revenue stream, like from a service provider perspective. So can you give us more insight about how you got um, these ideas?
Yeah, see, always world is continuously changing. In the sense, there is some or the other changes occur. And I was dealing with imported products. So we have various challenges, including currencies of various countries play a challenge.
Yeah.
Like sometimes Indian rupees to US dollar. And suppose you are dealing with a Korean machine or a Taiwanese machine, US dollar to their local currency. So like this, so many factors are there. So we are continuously facing various challenges. So we had some situation like that. We were very successful with Hyundai In fact, we used to sell so many machines that in 2011 and 12, my company was the number one dealer in India in terms of value, the highest seller of Hyundai machines in India. But in 2013 onwards, the US dollar changed quite a bit. What used to be like 47 became like 70, and so the same machine became very expensive. So this kind of situation, when it occurs, we have to immediately look for new products. See, for us in this business, what is important is we have to survive and grow also, and at the same time we should outlive the machine. Like if I am selling a machine, it has a life of 15 years or 20 years. My company should provide that service for that 20 years. Otherwise, that customer is going to have trouble. So that is why we are always innovating and developing new products and new services, so that if we survive, the first customer who trusted us, we have to value him. So for his sake, we are doing well.
Okay.
Amazing perspective. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll just probe that question, like probe that this one, where basically, like from a service provider point of view, right? Generally, it is like, okay, there is a problem, there is a standard operating procedure, okay, you fix it, as if there is no innovation in there, okay. So how have you changed that culture of innovation in your company? Be the process or be, manufacturing itself, or how have you what all steps you have taken that the customers would eventually benefit from that?
Yeah, no, there are various steps. First of all, we have trained most of our employees in our principles actually abroad. So our employees have trained in Taiwan and Korea. Second thing is we anticipate problems in advance actually, and anytime we get procedures on how to solve the problem, how to dismantle this. See, like they say in army, if a person doesn't bleed in practice, then he will bleed heavily in the war. So exactly the same thing. So before the problem occurs, we are preparing. We are preparing like where is the bearing available? Suppose this spindle fails, who can repair this spindle? Because I don't want to import it from foreign country because it don't have time. It has to be repaired.
Yeah.
So that is our specialty, because generally we have salespeople selling the machine, but here service person is selling the machine. So when the service person is selling a machine, he is worried about the customer more. The salesperson is worried more about finance
Getting
or
the
something. The
sales.
service person is worried about his reputation, because he is the sales. So we have to work in advance for that. That is the innovation, and we have procedures. We can also solve over telephone lot of problems. Most of our orders, like about 60% order is repeat order, which I feel is because of the satisfaction customers have.
Yeah. Great. So can you tell us GPY stakeholders and some of the biggest learning that the audience can benefit?
See, we are dealing with our stakeholders are all our suppliers, like Hyundai VI is a supplier from Korea, also Bele from Taiwan, and also Campro, and some more products are there. So what learning we have done is, see, we are not a standalone machine seller actually. We are a solution provider. Now, for example, you go to some company, they have some brands of product. Means not some brand, some product, some range of product. They will try to fit that solution only to that range of product, what they have. But whereas we as dealer dealing with a variety of products, we have sometimes for one component, we have 100 solutions. and we can find out which is the most cost effective to the customer. Like for example, if I design a cylinder block line, for example, let me say, I will give mix of machines, which will finally give a very cost effective to customer, much more cost effective than customer going to only one company. So these
Mm.
are certain learnings and benefits that a customer has from us.
Typically, what would be the problems like? I mean, like where the audience, I mean, the manufacturer would feel that he'll be, I mean, he will always have his own thinking that if I have this and this, because he has seen in some XYZ place, this is the way to go. But what are all the hidden challenges that he might not know when he is purchasing?
Okay, now see, the one is that we have long experience in the Indian market. Second thing is Indian market has its own challenges. Like we have challenges like power failure, which is not there in other countries.
Yeah.
Then we have different sometimes problems with lubrication oils and various kinds of things. So all these constants we can take into mind. For example, when we were working in Makino long back, we had a very major problem of not getting accuracy in box gateway machine. So many times people came, experts came from abroad, they did scraping, but we could not get the accuracy. But my nature is to investigate things. So when I investigated, I thought that let's go to basics. So maybe lubrication oil is the problem for this accuracy. So I imported lubrication oil just for this purpose. The moment we put the new lubrication oil, the problem got solved. So what was such a big issue, we could solve from small things. So these things, because we are from service background, we have a nature of problem solving. So
Yeah.
that way we are already creative and thinking, and we can give a better solution to the customer.
Okay. Cool. So now, currently the situation, it is like the pandemic times, and I think it is very testing times. Many manufacturing people are struggling to make their, repay their loans, and because the lockdown, people are not getting to move, and the employees are not there. They are going to their hometown and stuff like that. So I think that you might also have the same what all you have tried to overcome these challenges, and what are the lessons you learned with this situation from these two waves?
Yeah. See, first thing is we have been following the first wave from January 2020. What it was happening in China, we were observing. So we were aware that it is going to hit us. So even in as early as last February, when nobody in India was aware, we had already purchased all the masks. We had already 100 masks, N95 type of masks for our
Wow.
services.
Nice.
Because we have to work in advance. That is our way.
Yeah.
So we were already prepared actually. Then what we did is we decided how to minimize our cost. So we were in a rented premises. We knew that this COVID is going to stay for a long time. It's not that it will just come in. So we immediately moved to we have our own site in another area, not very far from our old office. So we moved over to there. So we saved rental. And then all our employees, we taught them how to communicate on phone because we cannot reach every customer. And we
Correct.
also avoided sending our customer for silly problems because we don't want to infect our employees. So all the issues as far as possible, we ensured that our person will solve over phone and only in required. So minimal contact should be there and minimal involvement should be. So this way, and with all the protection, mask and everything. We protected ourselves. So we could manage the first wave very easily. Second wave also we have had a little bit of challenge, but we are able to manage. Not a major issue.
Okay. So you think that because now companies also have started, online, uh, what do you call, training programs online. Before, I think it used to be like all physical programs that used to be there.
Yeah.
So do you see that now many self-help fixes from manufacturers? Is that a threat or a new opportunity for you in coming years?
Yeah. See, now what I feel is that there is no threat actually. Everything is an opportunity. So now customer earlier, he was not willing to pay for online services. So now I think in this COVID situation where we don't want to send our employees also into risky places, but at the same time we cannot expect the machine to, machine also to get up very quickly. So we are thinking of solutions like subscription from the customer, that we will give you online support, small reasonable amount, not big amount, maybe pay 1,000 rupees per month or something like that.
Yeah.
So we have to think innovatively, and also for the customer also it is a benefit actually, because they would have their maintenance people or operator. So we can help them to solve the problem more quickly. Like, if it takes 2 hours to go to the customer, if we solve it on the phone, maybe within half an hour the problem will get solved. So we are thinking of different kinds of solutions which will benefit the customer.
Great.
At the same time, have the revenue also. That is important, because we are surviving
Yeah.
for our first customer. That is
Yeah.
what is
No, that is good. Like, can you tell me a unique tech or process failure you have come across in GPY, and how did you recover from that failure? Like the most testing time.
See, we have had various kinds of problems. Like one of the complex projects we did was a turbine blade machining actually. We gave a 5-axis HMC, which was very, very complicated. But there were various problems that could not solve by the manufacturer. But then we ourselves took, because see, once I am selling to my customer, I cannot tell that the supplier is problem or this is a problem. I am the face of that particular company in India. Customer
Yeah.
will never talk directly to the foreign company.
Yeah.
So sometimes we have invested our own money. We have bought some Fanuc options and seen that the customer's problem is solved. And we gave a good solution for turbine blade on HMC 5-axis. That was one solution. Similarly, there were many solutions. Like now, turbine blade is very, very long actually. If you see, is very, very long, like this long. So when it becomes very thin, one side, if you hold rotary table, another side is a tailstock. So the blade will get twisted. So we were the first people in India to provide a solution of dual rotary table. Both sides have a rotary table and drive it actually. So this we provided to a customer in Hyderabad, and it came out very well. After that, lot of big manufacturers also copied, and this we only made locally, since not from the foreign. We didn't get from abroad. We only did. So
Nice.
this kind of if we have problems, we solve like this. That is our specialty.
Great. Cool. So I'll now hand it over to Rashmi, who will take some rapid fire. So this is like the rapid fire round.
So actually,
Like,
there is a
our audience, engaged. So Rashmi, over to you.
I was
Yeah,
remembering
thanks.
the Kannada. There's a radio channel, Rapid Rashmi is there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the name also is same. Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So before moving on to the rapid fire, I think Manu, lot of takeaways for the audience. Every word that you have spoken, is like a word of wisdom. But if I have to
Thank you.
just sum up, in the key takeaways for me, I think the initial point that you said about, first of all, understanding what is your asset when you're starting a business. I think that's a fantastic point, because people always try and worry about how much money do I have, what business idea do I work on. They never look at themselves as an asset. So I think that's a fantastic perspective that you've shared. So thank you so much, for that. So yeah, let's move on to the rapid fire. So there's a set of 5 questions, and the thing is, you don't need to think too much. You can just say whatever comes to your mind first. So can we start now?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you had some, suddenly if you were bestowed upon a superpower, what would you choose? To be invisible or to be able to read people's minds?
I would like to read people's mind probably.
Yeah. Great. And we are now living, in the world of emojis, where I think every app, every interaction on social media is filled with emojis. So what is your most used emoji?
My most thumbs up. That is.
Okay. Okay, great. If you were suddenly stranded on an island, which 3 people will you choose for company?
Okay. Is there anything to choose or just
You can choose anybody you want to.
okay? Mm, of course, my family I will choose.
Okay,
Okay.
nice. And suddenly, if you had an requirement on your smartphone that you can keep only 3 apps and you have to delete everything else, which apps will you keep?
I will keep LinkedIn uh, definitely, and maybe WhatsApp because now that is what customers use for communication. These
Yeah.
two, and Evernote. Evernote is the app which I use for my note taking. These 3 apps.
That's good.
Okay. Yeah, that's nice. And the last one is, if you had one extra day, like only for you, if you were given 25 hours in a day, how would you use that one extra hour?
See, that extra hour I will use for meditation actually, deep meditation.
Fantastic. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for those responses. Back to you, Abhi.
Thanks, Rashmi. So yeah, so we are coming to the end of this podcast. So, is there any one strong takeaway from your experience, Manu, that you would like to share for our younger generation uh, for the future?
Yeah, see, I have one or two or three takeaways which I can share. One is that younger generation needs more focus actually because now the distraction is too much through mobile and so many things. First thing. Second thing is there is no business which is not profitable or less profitable. I think so. Whichever field you choose, you can be profitable. The third thing I can say is one is like we have to see our asset, and also when starting our own business, we have to see where I can put value. We should do business where we can only at the place where we can put value. We should not do where we cannot put value or we have to depend on somebody.
Yeah,
So these are the three things which I can say is important for our present
great, great. So, just if our audience wants to reach out to you, can you tell how they can reach out to you, Manu?
Yeah, they can reach by my mobile 9902 002921 or on my email ID manumanu@gpy.co.in.
Great,
These two ways are possible. Or of
great.
course they can reach through you. Because you are,
Yeah. Yeah. So again, thank you very much for the insights. Definitely, I am sure that we will get a lot of we got a lot of insights from your talk, and thank you again very much. So we hope to have another interaction through podcast again soon. And to our viewers and listeners, thanks for hearing us. I hope it was interesting and inspiring to you. Next, we have a talk from CV Ramana from WEM Technologies. He's going to talk about lean manufacturing, V versus VA savings methods in manufacturing, and he is going to share the real trade secrets in implementing it. So I would like to see you soon and have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for the opportunity.
Thank you.